All right, everybody, it's time to talk about a very interesting topic, which is mid music. Mid meaning neither great nor terrible, just kind of mid, just kind of in the middle. And in a way, I feel like being mid is actually worse than being bad. You know what I mean? Like, at least if you're bad, you stand for something. At least there's something there that you can like react to. Like you take, I don't know, Psycho Sinner or whatever. It's like, man, that is terrible. That is absolute garbage. I hate it, but I can respect how bad it is. And then obviously great music is great, but there's something about being mid where you're just kind of like, you're like, what do you think of this? And you're like, I don't think anything about it. I have no feelings or opinions about this. To me, being mid is way worse than being bad. And so today we're going to rank some mid bands, but we can't do it as a tier list because by definition, they're all mid. By definition, they're all just kind of like C tier. So instead of doing it that way, we will look at it this way on two axes. On one axis, we have whether the fans are cool, and then on the other axis, we have whether the band members seem like they're cool or not. So let's look at it that way. And really quickly, I also wanted to mention my Patreon. If you like what I do on YouTube and everywhere else, joining my Patreon really helps me do this full time and worry less about videos getting demonetized by YouTube or copyright claimed by labels. Patrons get all my podcasts and main channel videos early. There are members only channels in my Discord that I'm super active in. I also do giveaways. For example, I've been giving away a lot of Emo's Not Dead merch, and you can also have me review your music, artwork, or anything else. All you need to do is join my Patreon at the $10 level, and then every month I do a call for submissions. If you want me to review something, just drop it in the comments of that post, and then I will review it live on Twitch. So if any of that sounds cool to you, hit the link in the description of this video, and I appreciate your support. The first band that I want to look at here, and I know this might make some of you upset, but the first band that we're going to look at here is Tool. To me, they're a classic example of mid because you're kind of like, I don't know, if we're being honest, like their music's not bad. I don't know that I would like choose to listen to it or something like that, but you know, the music isn't terrible, but it's not great. It's kind of mid. So the question is, if we can't judge it by its music, where do we judge it at? We judge them by the fans. So I would say on the cool versus uncool fans, well, listen, I think we all know where they belong here. Definitely not Cool fans. Nobody likes Tool fans, including the band. Even Tool themselves do not like their fans. And the members of the band themselves, the only person in the band that I really know anything about is Maynard. And I don't think that anybody is going to say that Maynard is particularly nice or pleasant, or like nobody says that they want to hang out with Maynard, right? However, the other people in the band seem kind of cool. So we'll put them here. Deeply, deeply uncool fans, but I think we'll put them towards the middle of the band members. It's also possible that he's only an asshole because their fans are so insufferable, that Maynard may sort of come off as an asshole because he's interacting with people all the time that are just absolutely unbearable. So it's possible that that sort of makes him not be at his best. And maybe if you're a normal person and you met him, maybe he would be a cool person. I don't know. But that's where I'm putting him for now. Next, how about, let me ask you a question, chat. When I say, hell yeah, brother, what's the first band that comes to mind? Huh? You tell me. When I say, hell yeah, brother, what's the first band that comes to mind? There we go. We got Five Finger Death Punch. That's right. Five Finger Death Punch. The definition of hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. You know, some of their music I actually think is pretty good. Like Got Your Six. I like that song. They have a couple good songs. But then they have so many songs that just all sound the same. That's the problem. I do like some of their songs, but they have a lot of songs that just are literally all sound the same. Like they have several albums that sound exactly the same. So that's kind of the problem. Now, as for the band members, I actually think they seem pretty cool to me. Zoltan, very smart guy, jiu-jitsu black belt. Everyone seems to like him. Chris, the bassist, I talk to him sometimes on Twitter, seems like an awesome dude. Ivan, probably a little bit of a troubled guy, but you know, I don't know. They seem cool enough to me. And I actually like Five Finger Death Punch fans. You know why? Because they're not beta fucking cucks like all the goddamn metalcore fans, like fucking Bad Omens and Sleep Token fans that want to cry about how their favorite e-girl doesn't like them back and blah, 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 blah. Five Finger Death Punch fans fuck and they don't fucking cry. They go to a show to have a good time. Is their music the best? No, it's not the best. But I say, Five Finger Death Punch fans, okay in my book. I'm a fan. They go on the upper right. That's what I think. They're Chads. That's right. You think they're assholes, but that's because you're a beta. Betas think Chads are assholes. They're not. They don't even care that you exist. I'll tell you the band that might be the absolute definition of mid to me. Like the most mid music of all time to me might be, can you guess what it is? The most mid music of all time. I think it's Machine Head. Like, have you ever met anybody that likes Machine Head? Ever in your life? Have you ever met someone that's like, oh, fuck yeah, Machine Head, I love them. My favorite band. Never. You've never met someone who likes Machine Head. Do they exist? I mean, someone must like Machine Head. Someone's buying tickets to see them. Somewhere out there. But nobody hates them either. You know, yeah, Davidian is a cool song. Nobody hates Machine Head either. You know, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot Machine Head exists. Just absolutely mid. Now, where do we rank them on here? Well, I think Machine Head fans, they're fine. Just kind of perhaps a little on the loserish side. But nothing wrong with Machine Head fans, I don't think. Rob Flynn, I don't know. He seems like a little bit of a wiener to me. I mean, there was the whole thing with him, like, you know, talking shit about Avenged Sevenfold when Hail to the King came out. And I don't know. He seems like kind of a wiener. Yeah, that's what I think. Seems like kind of a wiener. The fans are fine, though. No issue with them. So I'm going to put them on the upper left. Yeah, he talks too much shit for a guy who's in a very mid band. The logo is bad. Reminds me of cheap European EDM. Yes. They seem secretly racist. No. That's not true. They're definitely not racist. To his credit, Rob Flynn talked a bunch of shit about Phil Anselmo. So I give him credit for that. But very mid. This one's going to maybe upset some people. But a band that I would consider extremely mid would be the Offspring. You can't really say they're like garbage. You know, they have some pretty bad songs, but, you know, if Pretty Fly comes on, or, you know, the fucking Keep 'Em Separated song, I don't even remember the name of it, you know, catchy enough to sing along to. The Offspring are awful when they do joke songs and mid when they do normal songs. I think that's right. That's right. Their joke songs are absolutely horrible. Their normal songs are like, yeah, okay, fine, sure, whatever. If you put it on, I wouldn't be upset. The guys in the band, I think they seem cool. I'll say that. I feel like I would be friends with them. I would just have to pretend, you know, when they sent me the new album, they'd be like, hey man, what do you think? I'd be like, oh yeah, it's cool, sounds good. I would have to pretend and say that I liked them, but they seem like cool guys. And the fans, you know, the fans are a little bit on the boomerish side. They're like your, you know, 46-year-old punk uncle, you know, that still dresses in black flies and, you know, Dickie shorts and stuff, like he's at a No Use for a Name show from 1997. Yeah, Adam Sandler movie music, yes. But, you know, nothing wrong with it. So I put them up here on the upper right. Cool enough band, cool enough fans. I'm on board with it. Their music is not for me, but generally speaking, I'm an Offspring supporter. Imagine introducing them to people you know and saying, these are my friends Noodles and Dexter. People would think you were talking about your dogs if you said that. They'd be looking around like, what? Looking down at their feet like, where's Noodles? Where's Dexter? Is Noodles the Corgi and Dexter is the Yorkie, or which one is which? I'll tell you another band that I feel bad saying this, but it's kind of true, is Papa Roach is also mid, which I feel bad saying because they seem like cool. I mean, like, Jacoby seems like such a cool guy. You know, you'll never hear a single bad thing about him. Seems like an awesome dude, but unfortunately, they have many albums of mid. They also have a couple bangers. You know, Last Resort, obviously really good. They have a couple other good songs, like Face Everything and Rise is pretty good. But really, it's a lot of mid, unfortunately. But they seem like super cool guys. Jacoby seems like, I mean, I've never heard a single bad thing about him. I don't know anything about other people in the band, but no reason to think that they're anything but super cool guys. As far as the fans, you know, I mean, at this point, they're fans. It's the millennial nostalgia sort of market, right? Like, this is the when we were young, sick new world kind of thing of, you know, the 36-year-old dad, you know, paying $400 to see Papa Roach in 2024. That's sort of where they're at. Sometimes I get a little bit irritated by the millennial nostalgia market, but, you know, realistically, they're harmless. So I'm going to put them on the upper right, up here with the Offspring and Five Finger Death Punch. That's what I think. That's where I would put them. What's in the bottom right here? What's a mid band that goes in the bottom right? Coheed. Yeah, that Coheed is a good one. I agree with that. You know, this image here, the Coheed and Cambria logo, I know a few people with this tattoo, including my my manager, my YouTube manager, Tony, has this tattoo. For the longest time, I thought this was some kind of like video game thing. I thought this was like a Legend of Zelda rune or some shit. And then finally I asked somebody, I was like, is that Legend of Zelda or Halo or what is that? And they told me it was Coheed and Cambria. I didn't know, which might as well be Legend of Zelda, right? I mean, equally nerdy. Yeah, getting a Zoso Biohazard mix. Yeah, their music, you know, I respect them. I respect what they do, but I don't like it. And I will say their fans are pretty goddamn irritating. One of these bands that has a lot of lore, and I feel like any band with a lot of lore always attracts these sort of like overly enthusiastic dorks that kind of make the band a lot deeper than they should be. I would put Sleep Token in the same bucket here. You know, the guys in Coheed seem cool. I don't know too much about them, but they seem cool. The fans, though, insufferable. When I think of Coheed, here's what I think of. I think of basically the same thing as like a Fish or Tool fan of like, here's who the Coheed fan is, okay? Here's the Coheed fan. You know, when you were in 7th grade, there was like one kid in your class that for some reason was like way bigger than everyone else. He was like, you know, a stocky 220 pounds in 7th grade, and his calves were like this big. And so he had to wear like cargo shorts all the time because like his legs wouldn't fit into like pants because he just had these fucking massive calves. That's who the Coheed and Cambria fan is. Just the dude with giant fucking calves in 7th grade. I don't know why Coheed makes me think of huge calves, but it does. And probably like a really good bass player too. And a super nice guy. Super, super, super nice guy. And that guy has not changed a bit since 7th grade. He's still the exact same person he was back then. Giant calves and no veins, just thick. Exactly. He's that guy. That guy's pretty nice, but I can't get into the people who, you know, make the people who dork out about lore. I can't do it. Kind of irritates me. Let's talk about a band that should probably, I don't know. I feel like this is upsetting to people when I refer to this band as mid. But let's just be real. They are mid. They're like sort of the definition of mid. I'm baffled at the fact that Megadeth has as many fans as they do in the current year. Like, why would you choose to listen to Megadeth when so many other thrash bands exist? Listen, I mean, I don't think Megadeth is the worst band or anything. Calling Megadeth mid is the biggest compliment to mid. No, they're the definition of mid. I mean, they don't suck, right? I mean, they're certainly a competent band, but they're also not great. You know, they're just sort of, they're like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone is old enough to remember when you could get generic food at the store. Like you would get like, it was a white box. So let me see if I can find this. Like, this is what generic food looked like in the 80s. It would just say like the name of the food on the package in like black and white. It would just say like spaghetti, right? And I feel like Megadeth is that. It's like thrash metal. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, it's thrash. Nothing particularly great about it. Nothing wrong with it either. It's thrash. That's what I feel like Megadeth is. Very, very mid. And as far as the band goes, I think safe to say that Dave Mustaine, one of the most unlikable people in music, absolutely insufferable. The fans also get on my nerves because I don't know. People who think that mid things are great bother me. And yeah, that's basically the definition of a Megadeth fan, is convincing yourself that this extremely mid band is somehow amazing and great, and they're not. Megadeth fans love going on about how they're better than Metallica. Looks, I don't even like Metallica. Okay, I don't even like Metallica, but even to me, like, it's obvious that Metallica is like on a whole other planet than Megadeth, right? Megadeth has like 2 songs that are like kind of good, and then album after album after album of mid, right? And yet their fans jerk off to them like they're the best thing in the world. So for that reason, I'm sorry, and Dave Mustaine, nobody's going to argue with me on that one. At least we can all agree that Dave Mustaine is unbearable. I think we can all agree on that, right? How about a band that unfortunately has become mid? Unfortunately, a band that at one point was great, which is Panic at the Disco. Formerly great. First album, amazing and great, like S-tier classic. Pretty much everything else they've done varies between bad and like okay. So unfortunately, a formerly great band that's become mid. I have a favorable opinion of Brendan. He seems like a cool enough guy. The fans, I would say, are sort of, I'm going to put them in the middle. The problem with Panic at the Disco fans, the reason I don't put them on the upper right, yeah, they're a little bit too theater kid. That's the problem. Panic at the Disco fans are the exact Venn diagram overlap of elder emo and theater kid, which is a little insufferable. So, I think I'm actually going to move them down into the same tier as Coheed and Cambria, I think. Yeah, theater kid meets elder emo. It's a rough combination, right? That's a rough one. Another band that has moments of being better than mid, but overall, I think, is quite mid. All Time Low. They've sold millions of albums, and yet you never hear about All Time Low for a reason, because they're mid. That's why. They're mid. In the current year, who even is the All Time Low fan? That's my question, right? I mean, I think it's purely elder emos. Yes, they're the machine head of pop punk. That's exactly right. They're the machine head of pop punk. Do you actually know anybody that likes All Time Low? I don't think you do. Everybody knows them, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, All Time Low, yeah, okay, right? Anybody that's a fan of All Time Low probably liked them, 15 years ago when they were like in 8th grade, and they're still sort of clinging to their, elder emo fan base. I have no problem with All Time Low fans. Basically like G-rated elder emo, like moms, I would say, is their current fan base. But I don't like the band very much. They've always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They always just sort of had a little bit of a douchey vibe. And I really don't like back when they were in their prime, when they would sort of encourage, like their audience was like literal like 8th grade girls, and they would be up there on stage talking about blowjobs and stuff, and these like 7th grade girls would be like throwing A-cup bras at them, and they would like hang the bras up on the mic stand and stuff. I understand you can't stop your fans from doing that kind of thing, but you definitely don't need to encourage it. And they did, and I think it's fucking weird and creepy, and I don't like it at all. They seem like douches who think they're better than they are. That's definitely true. They played with Issues, I think it was, at the Showbox in Seattle, which is a decent sized venue, but not huge. It's like 1,200 cap. And there was a sign backstage with like the members of All Time Low, a photo of the band. And it said, "These people will not be wearing badges. Know their faces." It's like, you're too fucking good to wear your tour laminate around. You expect security to like recognize your face because you're in fucking All Time Low? Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, you think you're the Beatles? It's just the weirdest rock star thing at like a not that big of a venue. Just super gross. Not into it at all. They seem douchey. Yeah, the sort of thing you can do if you're Taylor Swift. Exactly. Taylor Swift for sure. Yes. Dua Lipa, definitely. Drake for sure. All Time Low, I'm sorry, just wear your goddamn laminate. Like, what's the big deal? Why would you not wear your laminate? It literally does nothing. Like, there's no downside just wearing the goddamn laminate. So for that reason, I say the fans are all right with me. Guys in the band, not a big fan. That's where they belong. And that does it for the mid-band Music Compass. Yeah, maybe I'll do another one. If I do, join us for that one. Is Noodles the Corgi and Dexter is the Yorkie, or which one is which?